In a world of shimmering chrome, wind in your face, and the deafening roar of V-twin engines, there exists a brotherhood, an unwritten code of honor, an absolute freedom. But beneath this romantic image lies a silent war that has lasted for decades, a bloody rivalry fueled by power, territory, and blood. This is not the story of two friends arguing. This is the history of an epic confrontation between two of the most notorious and feared motorcycle organizations in the world. The Hells Angels and the Outlaws, MC. Who controls the streets? And what is the ultimate price to wear the colors? Get ready to enter a world where loyalty is earned with your life, and where the only rule is that there are no rules. The origins of the conflict. To understand the intensity of this rivalry, we must go back to the beginning. Both clubs were born from the same source, the feeling of alienation among war veterans. The Outlaws MC, founded in 1935 in Illinois, prides itself on being the oldest one-percenter motorcycle club in the world. The Hells Angels, founded in 1948 in California, quickly became a symbol of the outlaw movement and gained public attention through the media and their association with figures like Hunter S. Thompson. Initially, the rivalry was not a global one, but rather a series of local conflicts driven by territorial expansion. The Outlaws MC dominated the eastern and western regions of the United States, with a strong presence in Florida and the Midwest. The Hells Angels, based in California, began to expand eastward, setting the stage for an inevitable clash. The initial conflicts were sporadic but laid the groundwork for a deep-seated animosity. The spark that ignited the war, the moment that transformed the rivalry into an open, bloody, and long-lasting war, was an incident on New Year's Eve 1973 in New York. 3 Outlaws members from Florida showed up at the Hells Angels clubhouse where a conflict broke out. The details vary, but the result was clear. 2 outlaws were brutally beaten. The response came quickly and was brutal. Shortly after the incident, 3 Hells Angels members were lured to an isolated location and executed mafia-style in retaliation. This triple murder was declared an act of war by the Hells Angels, marking the official beginning of the conflict that lasted for decades. Beyond personal vendettas, the main reason for the war was the control of territory and illicit markets. As both giants expanded, their areas of influence overlapped, especially in the United States and Canada. The Outlaws MC began an aggressive expansion north, forming a strategic alliance with a Canadian club called Satan's Choice in the Ontario region. This alliance allowed the Outlaws to gain control of the methamphetamine trade. The Detroit, Michigan chapter became incredibly powerful and important due to this collaboration, representing a direct threat to the Hells Angels' dominance. The Hells Angels could not ignore this challenge. To counter the Outlaws' advance, they formed an alliance with a rival French-Canadian club called the Popeyes. This move was crucial, and in 1977, the Popeyes patched over, meaning they were officially absorbed into the Hells Angels structure, consolidating their presence in Canada and transforming a local war into a national and ultimately international conflict. Infamous slogans and alliances. The rivalry became so intense that it gave rise to infamous acronyms and slogans used by Outlaws MC members. The most famous is ADIOS, which stands for Angels Die in Outlaw States. Another slogan is OHAMD, All Hells Angels Must Die. These mottos are not just simple words, they represent a vow of loyalty and a mentality of total war. Notable incidents. The war between the Hells Angels and the Outlaws MC is a history full of violence, from street battles to contract killings. Here are some of the most notable incidents. The Quebec Biker War, Canada. Although this war also involved other clubs, the Outlaws and Hells Angels were the main forces. Conflicts escalated in the late 90s and lasted until 2002, resulting in over 150 deaths, including civilians. The Quebec Biker War is considered one of the bloodiest conflicts between motorcycle clubs in history. The murder of Jerry Tobin, 2007 UK. In August 2007, Jerry Tobin, a Hells Angels member, was shot dead on the M40 motorway in the UK while riding his motorcycle. The investigation quickly led to the arrest and conviction of several Outlaws MC members, demonstrating that the rivalry had crossed national borders and become a global issue. The attack on the Outlaws clubhouse in Detroit. In 2006, a large number of Hells Angels members attacked the Outlaws headquarters in Detroit, Michigan, in an attempt to take control of the area. The battle was brutal and both clubs suffered significant losses. This incident reconfirmed Detroit's status as a conflict zone, where the presence of both clubs is intense. To understand the mentality behind this rivalry, one must delve into the one-percenter culture. The name comes from a supposed statement by the American Motorcyclist Association, AMA, which allegedly said that 99% of motorcyclists are respectable citizens and 1% are outlaws. Even if the AMA has denied ever making this statement, clubs like the Hells Angels and Outlaws have proudly adopted this symbol, transforming it into an identity. Each club has a strict hierarchy similar to a military structure. President, vice president, sergeant-at-arms, treasurer, and regular members. Below them are prospects, candidates who must demonstrate absolute loyalty and a willingness to put their lives on the line for the club. Loyalty to the club is supreme. Once you have sworn allegiance, you are a member of a family. Abandoning the club or betraying your brothers is often paid for with your life. The rules are simple. The club comes first before family, work, or anything else. The club is family, and an injury to one member is an injury to the entire organization. In addition to the brotherhood aspect, outlaw motorcycle clubs have evolved into sophisticated criminal syndicates. Despite their public image, they are involved in large-scale illicit activities, from drug and arms trafficking to prostitution and extortion. The rivalry between the Hells Angels and the Outlaws MC is not just a conflict of egos, but a fight for control over drug markets. In many cases, violence serves a purpose, intimidating rivals, establishing control over a territory, and ensuring profits. Federal law enforcement such as the FBI in the United States and national police in Canada and Europe have documented numerous cases of violence and crime related to this rivalry. An important aspect of the fight for territory is the phenomenon of patchover, where a smaller club is absorbed by a larger one, and its members receive the new colors. This often happens in strategic regions and is an effective way to quickly gain ground, but also a reason for conflict. The war between the Hells Angels and the Outlaws MC continues to this day, even if it is not as visible as it was in the 70s and 90s. This rivalry is a story of the desire for domination, unconditional loyalty, and extreme violence. It demonstrates how a local conflict, started by a minor incident, can turn into a global war for power and control. Are the Hells Angels truly the angels from the Hughes film? Or are they just a gang of rebels with a criminal cause? And the Outlaws MC, a lesser-known but equally dangerous club, is a lethal organization in the shadows. The war continues, and the only thing certain is that in the world of one-percenters, peace is just an illusion.